Welcome to the page, welcome to the channel. We want to address a question, a commonly asked question. How do I start teaching my kids sex education? How do I start? Okay, this is Class Online School. We have sex education section, we have counseling section where we discuss issue arising. So today let me jump into the video and talk about how to start teaching your kids sex education. Number one, start very early. As early as 0 to 2 years, you can start from that time. You can start as early as possible. Why? If you start early, the discussion will be normal. It won't look awkward when they are knowledgeable and when they are grown. But if you start early, it becomes a normal conversation between you and them. So, number one thing is start teaching them sex education at a very early age. Then number two, get to know what you're going to teach them. What are you going to teach them? The first basics is start teaching them their body parts. All the body parts. You can go and get an image. They used to sell it in bookshops on the different body parts. Tell them the biological name for each body part. Please don't paint it. You see this nickname we use around by adults, that's adult thing. At this young age, they need to know the biological name, because when they go to school, it is the biological name that they are going to call for them, and it's what they are going to teach them. So as you start teaching them, call the biological name for each of these body parts for them. Now, after you have understood, after they've understood what the body part is, now tell them areas that needs to be set boundaries on. You as a parent, as a caregiver, as an adult guiding these individuals or these kids, set boundaries on some body parts. Let them know that the breast, the vagina, okay, it's not supposed to be touched improperly. Set boundaries on some body part. Their buttocks. Let them know that there are body parts that have boundaries, whether for known person or unknown person, that it should not be touched inappropriately. So set boundaries for them. As you set boundaries for them, they are going to imbibe that boundary culture and they are going to communicate it out. So set boundaries for them. Let them know appropriate touch and inappropriate touch. Let them know when a touch is inappropriate for them. And when a touch is inappropriate, they should send alarm. If a touch is inappropriate, let them speak out. If somebody is touching them inappropriately, let them speak out. So teach them appropriate touch and inappropriate touch. Inappropriate touch has to do with somebody touching the buttocks, somebody touching the vulva, somebody trying to kiss them deeply, somebody trying to show unnecessary affection. Let them know about this and teach them how to send alarm. Nobody should silence them. Let them know that people will threaten them. Some adults will try to silence them. Let them know that nobody has the right to silence them in whatever alarm they want to send out. So start early. Start by teaching them body parts. Tell them, set boundaries around areas you wouldn't want your child to be touched. Teach them body parts, appropriate body touch and inappropriate body touch. Then teach them to send alarm. These are simple ways you can start teaching your children sex education. Remember, at every age, there is adequate information to be passed out. Now, when a child gets to 6 years, please start teaching them puberty. We've discussed a lot of information about puberty on this page. I will revisit them from time to time. Start teaching them puberty. You know why? Some girls at the age of 8, they've entered puberty. Some start as early as 6. So when they understand what happens in puberty, when these features start growing out, they will not feel embarrassed and they won't feel awkward. So at the age of 6, start teaching your kids puberty, whether boys or girls. Start teaching them about puberty. And as the year goes by, continue emphasizing on their puberty until they hit puberty. Now, you can as well tell them the consequences of sex as a teenager. I have discussed about how to discuss sex education with a teenager. It's on this page. I'm only responding to the person that I've asked how he or she will start. So I have mentioned a number of points, but make sure at 6 you start teaching your children puberty. Get them prepared before the puberty age. Some girls start early. By 7 they've started, by 8 they've started. Boys delay a little, by 9, 10 they have started. Okay, it start by behind the scene. The hormones will be working before it start pronouncing on the scene of their body. I have discussed a lot about stages of puberty. It was in 3 series on this page. So navigate through the page and you will see it. How do you start teaching your teenager sex education is clearly on this page. So start early. Teach them what they need to know at an appropriate age. So you as a parent, as a caregiver, as the adult being at the head of head of affairs, try as much as possible to get education. Get education. You can scheme out a curriculum for yourself and say between the age of 0 to 2, this is what I'm going to teach my kid. Between the ages of 3, 4, 5, this is what I'm going to teach them sex education. This is what I'm going to teach them in sex education. Between the ages of 6, 7, and 8, this is what I'm going to teach them. You can structure a curriculum for yourself. And remember that sex education is not just a one-time off discussion. It's a reoccurring discussion, something that can come at any time. Have a open communication with your kids. Be a friend to them. That will help them to always communicate with you. Ask them questions that will lead you to sex education. See an open scenario that will lead to sex education. A 3-year-old, 4-year-old can see a pregnant woman and ask you, how is that woman's belly swollen? You will be able to discuss sex education from there. Okay, you can see 2 people working together. They are in a romantic relationship. Why are these 2 people to attach to themselves? You can start discussing sex education with them from there. Some children go to the extent of asking you, how did you give birth to me? How did my life come to be on this earth? You can as well start sex education with them. So be analytic, be creative in thinking, bring up questions. You can, even if these children did not bring up this question, you can bring up this question. You can ask them, do you know how you come to this life? Then strike up a conversation. Do you know why that woman's belly is swollen? Or do you know why the belly is big? Do you know what is growing inside that belly? These are venues you can use to teach your children sex education. So there is no appropriate straight guide on how to teach your children sex education. The opportunity will just come when you create one. Try as much as possible to create one. Look for possible scenario. Look for a structure. Get a structure. And so maybe on this page, I'm going to get a simple structure for 0 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 10. You know, I'm going to structure some questions. I'll come on aboard one of these days and discuss these areas. So start. Look for situation. Look for ways, structure your discussion, be knowledgeable about what you want to say, because if you are not, you're going to tongue tie yourself. You just start looking for words. So get prepared. Parenting is not a day job. Adulthood is not a day job. Taking care of a young person is not a day job. Even if you are not a parent, but you have younger ones, that are around you that you need to teach. You have to be prepared to teach them. All right, so let's make this journey smooth for these young individuals. Start teaching them early. The street is not friendly. We have a lot of abusers out there. We have a lot of sexual predators out there. They need to be on the know. Let nobody abuse them. Let nobody use them. Help them to be on the know. Put them on the right track. Teach them sex education. It's something we advocate here. All right, so thank you to the person that asked this question. I hope I've been able to give you a structure or give you a guide on how to start. All right, thank you for joining us. I'll see you in order of our edition.